Alright, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to Real Madrid Hub again. I'm your host, Dr. J. And in this unusual video, long video, it's gotta be longer than usual because, as you know, I normally like to record and upload just very short and brief clips so you guys can be updated regarding to pretty much everything surrounding to Real Madrid. But now I wanted to share with you my thoughts and my own opinion in a longer video regarding to the news that came out this morning from UEFA, where they claim that have initiated a kind of investigation to suspend, basically with the purpose of suspending to Real Madrid from the next edition of the Champions League. So I will be talking about that. I will be talking about the news. I will be talking about the main consequences that this whole thing might have for Real Madrid. So yeah, I mean, just be prepared, be ready, because this is going to be a longer video. Okay, so as I told you this morning, UEFA has announced officially that they have initiated a new investigation to find any single fault that Real Madrid might have committed in order to suspend to Los Blancos from the Champions. And it's not, I mean, it's not only Real Madrid, but that includes to FC Barcelona and Juventus de Turin. I mean, from now on, every time I say Real Madrid, you all have to know that I'm including to FC Barcelona and Juventus de Turin, because whatever thing happens to Real Madrid is going to happen as well to FC Barcelona and Juventus, just because they are the only three teams remain in La Superliga, right? Okay, so like I said, this morning Ceferin announced that an investigation is ongoing right now to discover or find any proof that actually proves that Real Madrid violated a single article or rule from UEFA, and that way, so Real Madrid will be punished, would be suspended from the Champions, and this whole investigation is going to take like maybe 2 to 3 weeks right after the final of the Champions, where, I mean, that is going to be the day where UEFA is going to announce these suspensions, because this is going to end in a suspension for Real Madrid. This is going to end in a suspension for Real Madrid. I'm pretty sure of that. I mean, no doubt about that. So from now and on until the next day of the final of the Champions, UEFA will be investigating to Real Madrid for La Superliga. So what are the main consequences that Real Madrid might have from this whole situation, suspension and all this stuff? Okay, the number one consequence, the number one thing that can happen to Real Madrid is pretty much that we will be out. We will actually be kicked out from the next stage of the Champions League for the next season, right? And that is not something, it's not easy. I mean, it's not a walk in the park. It's something, I mean, it's a big deal. Because if you keep in mind all the millions that Real Madrid makes every single year, a big part of those millions are coming from the participation in every single competition, like the Champions. I mean, titles and championships that are followed by a lot of people all around the world, right? So we might lose a lot of millions just because we are not participating, or we are not going to be in the next Champions League edition, right? So that is the number one. But now the number two is even worse, because this year was supposed to be the year where we were going to sign finally to Kylian Mbappe for Real Madrid. But now that scenario might turn a little bit. if we are not going, if we are not making the millions that we normally make in a very, I mean, in another year, in another normal year, then the possibilities for us to sign Kylian Mbappe will be reduced dramatically. It's essentially, if you don't make the millions, if you cannot afford, because you will miss a lot of millions just because you were kicked out from the Champions, I mean, you will not be able to sign, I mean, neither Kylian Mbappe nor any other big name, big player, or whatever you want to call it. So the consequence number 2 is even worse than the consequence number 1. So now that we know what is going to be the result, or what the result is going to look like for Real Madrid, then we have to ask ourselves, what can we do about it? What can Real Madrid do about that? Just to stop this craziness, just to stop this madness, because it's at the end of the day, it's a stupid thing. And we all know that, I mean, a Madrid court ruled that UEFA, FIFA, or whoever it is cannot proceed and suspend to any of the teams, to none of the teams included in La Superliga. And they cannot even, fight against La Superliga, because this is competition. This is free markets. So you are not allowed to destroy any other competition just because it's your actual and your direct competition, or is in direct competition with you. No, you cannot do that. It's as simple as that. You cannot do anything about that. So once we have that in mind, Real Madrid have a lot of chances to win and appeal to the court and say, hey, these guys are suspending us just for trying to build up and put together a new project, a new, format, a new championship, or whatever you're going to call it. And these guys are kicking us out from the Champions just because of that. So if you go to the court and appeal and say that, you will probably win. The problem is that in the meantime, you are out. You are out. And you're not receiving the millions you are supposed to receive every time you participate in the Champions. Right? And as a result, you will not receive the money you need in order to sign new players, Kylian Mbappe, Erling Haaland, or whoever it is. Whoever it is, I don't care. And this year was supposed to be the year, for the first time in 12 years, that we might see new players coming up, new big stars coming up to Real Madrid again. Because if you remember, in 2009, it was 4 super big names in a row: Benzema, Kaká, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Albiol. So essentially, the 2022, it was going to be a revival of 2009. But apparently now, nobody knows what is going to happen with this. So I don't have to tell you how bad is this for Real Madrid. And the point of the whole of this whole thing is, okay, what can we do about that? Can we stop that? I mean, can we try to negotiate now with UEFA something? Can we have any kind of debate with these guys, or it's so late, or what is going to happen? Because los Madridistas at the end of the day don't care about, legal process and legal stuff. They only want to know if they will be able to see the Real Madrid participating and playing against the best of the best teams in the world, in the best of the best competitions, in the best of the best championships, or whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I'm hoping that Florentino Perez has everything under control, because if we're out, it's gotta be worse. It's gotta be so bad for Real Madrid and for all those Madridistas all around the world, because that way we will not be able to make the millions we used to make. And of course, this is like a vicious circle. If you start not receiving the millions you are supposed to receive, then you will not be able to sign. If you don't sign any other player, you will not be able to fight against the best. If you don't fight against the best, you will not be able to qualify for the next championships, and on and on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? So that's why this is big deal. This is not a walk in the park, you know? This is not something like easy, like, okay, yeah, whatever. No, it's big deal. So, apparently, the only good news we have so far is that Infantino is the president of FIFA. And from my understanding, I have seen a lot of interviews to this guy talking about La Superliga. And from his statements, what I can deduce, what I can think, is that this guy is a little bit more flexible and it's a little bit more open than Ceferino is. And he's all the time trying the different sides of the spectrum. I mean, the different opponents, Florentino Perez and La Superliga on one side and then UEFA on the other side, to come to a kind of negotiation and dialogue and talk and stuff like that. So he's a little bit more flexible than UEFA, and he said that suspensions and bannings and all the stuff is not the answer. It's actually not the answer, that we have to face off together the new challenges for soccer. The new challenges that are coming up to soccer. You know what I'm saying? Every single time we have a problem, we have to solve it together. You know, so it's something that is really peaceful and you know, a message in the sense of trying to fix everything up and put everything together and add up a little bit more. I don't know. But it's obviously a better position than the UEFA's position right now, which is very intolerant and strict and things like that. I mean, the way UEFA is trying to solve this whole thing, in my opinion, is not the way you have to face off these kind of challenges, right? Because apparently Florentino Perez, I mean, it's not the first time that the teams of La Superliga tried to speak with UEFA. Apparently they tried before, but they didn't receive any answer from UEFA. That is the problem. UEFA doesn't want to finish their monopoly. They want to be the only ones, and they want to perpetuate their status and situation, and they don't want any kind of competition. That is the point. That is the problem. So I don't know. I mean, this is big deal, and especially for Real Madrid, because right now we are in the weakest side of the table, and I hope Florentino Perez has everything under control, and I hope we are not kicked out from the Champions, because that would be much worse for us. So I don't know what is going to happen, but let me know your thoughts about that. Comment in the section below, and of course subscribe to this channel, Real Madrid Hub.